Good afternoon, shopkeepers and do-it-yourselfers out there in the YouTube land. Today we're working on a Ford motorhome. Well, it's a Ford chassis. Actually, it's a Holiday Endeavor. It's got the tag axle on the back. And this video is for guys that might be getting into this for the first time. Guy had a wheel bearing go bad on it, and while it seemed to be catastrophic, it actually turned out pretty good. And he just lost a little piece of insulation around some water lines up in there, but didn't no damage. Anyway, he sure made a mess out of the bearings and tore them all to pieces. We got all that cut off and chased the threads. They're good. We've already used emery cloth to polish the bearing journals for the races, and no damage on the seal surface. It's all good to go. But the shoes were destroyed, and nothing left there. These are hydraulic, and what we come to find out, while this is a Ford F53 chassis, this is actually a Dexter rear axle that's attached to this Ford motorhome. And you can see the D, and it says Dexter right there on the wheel cylinder, and it says Dexter there on the shoe, and over here on the drum it also says Dexter somewhere. It's on there somewhere. But anyway, we've learned that this is about a 8,000 pound axle based on the size of the bearings that it took. And so if you get into this mess, you want to obviously measure both of your, or all three, your seal ID and OD, where it presses into the drum, the hub rather, and your ID and OD for your races, your inner and outer. This one took the 2 1/4 ID by 3 3/8 OD seal, and this is an oil bath bearing assembly, and so I had to get a new oil cap that screws into the front of the hub, and new bearings. I've already got the races knocked out and a new one's pressed in. So the back is all ready to go. Got the new seal in it, the new race and new bearing, and sprayed it out to make sure there wasn't no metal shavings in there in that hub. We don't want that going through the new bearings. And this brake assembly come like this from my local trailer park supply, and it had there's a backing plate that was on it, but it plastic, and half of it burnt off. And this is the original, and the wheel cylinder, the seal was cooked, and probably so are the piston cups in there. So he had missing hardware. His adjuster was gone. This spring, and I think this spring up here was stressed a little bit. Yeah, there it is. It's stressed from heat. So we got everything all in one all in one kit rather. And there is a right and a left, so you need to know that. And this is hydraulic. You got a brake line that screws into the back of it just like any other. And so this is adjusted all the way in. We get ready to put the drum on there. And before you put your bearings in your hub, you want to go ahead and test fit to make sure your race or your bearing cone is going to slide up on there, and these do. And so we're ready to put that on. Let me set that drum on there, and we'll get that inner bearing on. Okay, just set the hub up on there, and it's slid up in far enough that I can put the outer bearing on. And of course your cone goes small side in. I suppose you probably know that. And you got a D washer. It's D because it's a flat spot on your spindle. And then the nut, that's going to go on there and tighten that up. Now you want to use your impact and tighten that up to 200 foot-pounds, right? No, wrong. You don't want to do that. You just want to draw it up till your seal is all the way seated flush, and it bottoms out. You don't have any more run out in and out play, and then loosen that up probably 1/8 to 1/4 of a turn. And then depending on how your hardware is, this originally had where the hell is it? There we go. It had one of these on there with a cotter pin, but this one gonna get, well, it's got a flat spot there, and it goes on top of the flat spot of the spindle and cages around the nut. That keeps that nut from walking tight or looser. But that D-ring washer, D-washer, not D-ring, it will not turn because it's staked onto the spindle. But anyway, that's where you're at. So like I say, this is a Dexter. There's the D for Dexter on the drum. And those are 12 by 3 and 3.5, I think. 12 1/4 by 3.5 brake shoes. And that's one big heavy drum and hub. Probably be about $400 or $500 just to replace that hub. But them brakes was almost $700, that brake plate. And but anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. You can surely put a wheel bearing together, and your cap's got an O-ring, threads on there, and then there's a rubber plug that goes in here, and you fill this with gear oil up to this kind of gray line down here at the bottom, not up here at the top, unless you turn it 180 degrees, and then it would go there, but not there unless you turn it 180 degrees, and then it would go there. But it's the bottom line. If you put it up there at the top, then it's going to leak out this little plug, and that won't be good. You'll have a mess. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Share, like, and subscribe.